Welcome everyone, another exciting Your Little Castle show. You know, life is all about being energetic, going out there and conquering the world. Summit Rejuvenation Center, the founders are here, everybody. We've got Scott Otey and John Fogarty on the far end there. You guys launched an incredible business here 7 years ago now.
Yes,
and really impacting having an impact on families and lives of people who, maybe we all struggle with just getting up every day and being involved with what we're trying to do to conquer this little planet and make a difference. And it's not easy. So thanks for joining us in the studio today and tell us, Scott, I'll start off with you. Why did you decide to get into this?
Well, first and foremost, thanks for the opportunity, man. I greatly appreciate it. We got into this because we love helping people, and that sounds very cliche. You hear it all the time, but some of the stories and stuff we get to hear stories of a father feel like he is becoming a father again, feeling like saving a marriage, like we spoke about earlier, just stuff like that. As seeing the real impact, not just helping people with getting muscles, losing body fat. That's cool and all, but the mental aspect of what we do is pretty incredible.
John?
Yeah, we originally got into the supplement world, and we joke about it, but it was like we were doing that because we got people in shape, like skinny, ripped, like, oh, I just want to be big and muscly. Now, that's what we tell people your bonus will be, is that you might lose some body fat and these other things will happen. But it's really about creating a new lifestyle and the energy they need to be able to perform at their best.
That's key. I mean, how often we find that nothing about this little time on our planet is simple. Somebody who's gone through a traumatic accident, I think I might have mentioned to you guys, but I was in a coma caused by a drunk driver. And just to recover from something like that, everyday life wears you down. Absolutely. And what are you going to do so that you can keep up? Because, I mean, if you just, I'll throw this out there, getting a little bit deep with the, but I mean, the average lifespan of somebody up until like the 1850s was like 52 years old. Yeah. And so now we're living 20 and 30 more years. Yeah. And the body isn't necessarily, it can evolve, but it doesn't evolve that quickly. Yeah. What are we missing that you guys are helping people to recover?
Well, it's a thing, just the stressors from everyday life. There's things called EDCs, which is endocrine disrupting chemicals, and they're very, very active in every single thing we do on a day-to-day basis, which that attacks our endocrine system, which is AKA our hormones. So we're working against that on top of lifestyles being a lot less active for most people. With that and with the stressors of everyday life, that hits you from every angle all the time. So all those things working against you are working against your hormones, and eventually if you suppress them for a long enough time, they're going to stay suppressed. So that's kind of where we come in to give you back what you lost, to give you that oomph and that drive that you're missing.
Okay, John, I'm going to go to you here a little bit more about that. But first, give me a chance here, everybody. Talk about our sponsors. We're very fortunate to have some great sponsors on the Your Little Castle show. Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle that you were able to have a great successful job at and career because you had the energy to do so. And that's what these guys here at Summit Rejuvenation Centers will help you to do. With that, though, we also give a shout out, and because you like nice things in your little castle, we've got to show that up for everybody. I showed that to Brooke a few weeks ago. And he liked that. In your little castle, that's what we all try to develop. And our little kingdom, our little world, you guys are helping with that too. But we also, our sponsor now of the show, has been a sponsor for a long time, but they do a great job, powered by the Flowers Team, USA Mortgage. So shout out to those guys, and we love what they do. So with that, we're going to put the excitement. You guys got a great looking website, good information from everybody here that we're going to share with everybody and put that up behind us. But tell me then, John, what behind you helps you enjoy what you're doing here to make a difference?
Yeah, so unfortunately in the world we live in now, hormone levels are starting early, right? So when we were younger, most of the time you wouldn't see kids that sprout at 10 years old, but now you can meet a 12-year-old boy that's 6'2" and 185 pounds, and you're like, where'd you come from? He's growing facial hair, right? Unfortunately, if we sprout early, your hormones are going to decline earlier too, right? So that's just hand in hand with logical thought process if we're not taking care of ourselves in a perfect way. And unfortunately, that just happens. So when people drop off, they need to be brought back to life, right? And I say that kind of jokingly, but the reality is we just need to get back to the levels we were at before. We need to get to a place that we can feel and function like a normal human again. I'm not saying you need to be functioning like you were, 18 years old with hormone levels of 2,000 and going through puberty, but a level of something that makes you sleep at night, your quality of life is better, your brain fog's gone, and you can remember things again. Boy, you talk about a win-win, right?
Sure. There might be some things that I wanted to forget, but most of the time I want to remember everything, right? And yeah, how often do we struggle with that? And I had just, part of the reason this had struck with me, and we wanted to have you on the show, talking to a gal who I just met randomly out at an event, and we started discussing personal stuff a little bit, and she says, hormone levels have a lot to do with that. And when you get, and I was talking about a female friend of mine, and she says, well, check these things, because over time our bodies, like evolution has had happen, don't keep up as well as they should have. And now you can replace, just because it's not some toxin or some drug, it's just the natural levels that we have that help people recover and get back into shape. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, we're not giving you, that's what's cool about what we do compared to like most supplements. You give somebody a supplement, it's supposed to do X, Y, Z. When we prescribe you testosterone, we're giving you the synthetic version of testosterone that's in your body. And same thing with females, progesterone, estrogen, whatever it may be, whatever their protocol calls for. We're giving you the bioidentical version of that hormone, so it's not some outside force or outside toxin that your body's going to react back to.
These are the things the body needs naturally anyway. And so, but as I say, is it common sense to say that when we live to be 50 years old, you made it through most of that with what you were born with. But these days you run out of these things, so you got to have some revitalization, rejuvenation with it. It says there, everybody. All right. Well, then tell me, was there? I get the inference that you guys both have kind of a background where you care about people's health and wellness. Give me a little bit about, was that kind of what got you here? You did supplements prior. Tell me the evolution here a little bit.
The two of us have been in the workout game, strength and conditioning, and helping people with diet, workout advice for 20 years apiece minimum. When we got into this, it was just one of those things that we were go-to guys for. A lot of people trusted us and believed in us, and then we kind of realized that this was a life-changing event for me as far as getting on hormone therapy and feeling like a whole different person. So it's kind of like, wow, what's the next pivot? And this is, how can we help more people and do it in a way that we felt good about? Because we were the one supplement company that wasn't selling diet pills. And everybody's like, you need to sell diet pills. They make the most money. We kept saying, we don't feel right about that. We want people to have a lifestyle change.
Right.
Well, so here we are creating lifestyle changes.
Okay. Scott, same thing?
Yes, it's the same concept. Like I said, I've been doing this stuff for free for my whole life. You know what I mean? I've been in the gym since I was 10 years old, my old man. So it's always been something that came easy to me because I was very interested in doing it. And like I said, like he was saying earlier, we being the go-to guys that are, if you don't want blunt honesty, we're probably the wrong people to go to. You might not like what we have to say, but we're going to be honest with you. And so we are very, very firm believers in not putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, actually fixing what's causing the issues at hand. And that's why we love what we do so much, is because we actually give real life solutions to real life people and make them feel like they're whole again.
That's part of that fulfillment in life we talk about. I mean, been through the traumatic situation myself, and had I not had some experts helping me to get back to where I could be, because they had even written me off. They said, you're going to take care of Carter for the rest of his life. There's still some question if people have to take care of me. But I've recovered it. It wasn't for great medical care. And gosh, I'm thinking now I may have to pay you guys a visit, because I know these things affect your everyday, just energy and how you perform and what you can do every day. Memory, gosh, memory is such an important thing. So tell me, overall, how long have you guys been involved with this kind of helping people with their health and their wellness? When did this all start? And then you guys, like I said, I mentioned before, 7 years ago when you started.
Yeah, it'll be 7 years in May when we first started our first location. And like I said, John's been, I'll let him explain, but he's been in the game just a little bit longer than I have, doing strength and conditioning stuff. I've been doing it since, like I said, I started going to the gym when I was about 10 years old. I started helping people when I was about 15, because I was always, my dad was a bodybuilder, personal trainer, so I kind of took a liking to it, just hang out with my dad. You know what I mean? Right. And so I got pretty good at it. And if I enjoy something, I dig in like a complete dork and nerd, just dig into every aspect of it, because I want to know if somebody asks me a question, I know the answer. If I don't, it frustrates me, so I find the answer. So it's something I've been doing for free since I was 16, 17 years old. Okay.
You look like you're in your late 20s now, maybe.
Oh yeah, it's a hairline. Right?
But I get it, man. And just when you have a passion for something, I think that's a key. I talk about that. We're trying to give everybody tips for success here, everybody. And myself, these guys came into our studio today, and they said, "Wow, who did this? Did you build it?" I said, "Yeah, I built it myself." But it's because I had a passion for that. And if you really dig in and decide you want to become the best, then you can succeed more readily than anybody else who's saying, "Well, I don't know the answer to that. Let me think about that. Let me call a friend." Right? Yeah. That doesn't provide for success. So John, this is something you've dug in with and made it your passion.
Yeah, I mean, we were, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago now. I used to be able to just tell people it's 7 years ago. Now it just keeps extending. But I mean, 9 years ago, we were connecting with people like this Jay Campbell that's known for being one of the world's leading experts that's not a medical doctor in hormone therapy. And we were learning from him before we even opened a clinic, because the two of us wanted to be as knowledgeable as we could when we met with a medical director, so that he would say, I want to be a part of this business. So for us, it's really just that, when I say passion about this, this is something that we'll do for the rest of our lives. There's no, we're going to build a business to sell it. This is something we just want to do forever.
Well, it fits well for what we like to espouse and promote, because again, I had a time when I went to another clinic with somebody else, I forget, and I don't know if they did the same thing, but my dad had been through a lot and gone through a stroke, and they said, we can't necessarily treat a guy who's in his mid to late 70s because there's risks involved with that. But I just wanted my dad to have that vibration for life again, like he had always had, being such a supportive father for me. And it's just how many people miss out on that, but they start in their, how early is it that people start to deteriorate or suffer from or lack the hormones and what they need for their body? Is that starting in their 20s, 30s?
Well, it's kind of sucks now for a lot of people, because nowadays, with like the medication that you got these 10, 11, 12-year-old kids on, ADHD medication and stuff like that, that's messing with their hormones at a very early age. So we're seeing a lot of guys that are 21, 22, 23 with testosterone levels of an 80-year-old man, which, I mean, people, they say it's your lifestyle, it's this or that. But there's no way a 21, 22-year-old guy can mess up his hormones that bad to be 21 and to be that low. And to not have the confidence to not perform like you should, a 21-year-old, and thinking, hey, I'm way too young for this, that's got to be a complete mind-blowing thing. You know what I mean? So we've got guys from 22 years old up to, I think, our oldest one is 82.
Okay.
So we got quite a big range.
Okay. And I guess, depending on what the treatment may be, you've got something for just about everybody, because there's all different types of ways you treat people and different methods to do that. John, what is your favorite result? What do you see that you get to do here?
Yeah, so the good thing about it is, like, let's say that maybe hormone therapy isn't for somebody, right? Is we do peptide and vitamin nutrition as well. So a lot of times, even if hormone therapy isn't right for somebody, maybe a peptide could help them. We got peptides that can release growth hormones. So if somebody struggles with sleep quality, but they don't qualify for hormone replacement therapy, boom, all of a sudden they're sleeping again. It helps with some subcutaneous fat loss too. So I mean, there's other benefits besides that by doing it, and it's not a hormone replacement therapy. So even if somebody doesn't qualify or doesn't need hormone replacement therapy, we've got a lot of options for you.
Yeah, now you keyed on another word there, peptides. I've heard the word. What is a peptide, and how does that affect somebody's health and wellness?
So there's a plethora of peptides. Peptide's a very broad term. So there's probably, I mean, at this point,
there's thousands. I guarantee
of peptides.
Okay.
What they are, they're amino acids that are naturally occurring in your body, and they change the sequence in the chain of how they're made. So when you change that sequence, it makes a different peptide. So you can have peptides to help anything with hair growth, which I obviously do not take. You can have peptides to help with joint pain, recovery with tendon ligament, stuff like that. Or you can have peptide just for your skin quality. So there's a peptide literally for just about everything. And that's something that's been around for a while. They're just now getting kind of mainstream.
Okay.
But it is really, really cool just because it's made from something that's actually naturally occurring in your body already. So it's not going to have a whole bunch of negative effects to it. And you can take it long term because it doesn't shut down anything in your body either. So it's some pretty cool stuff.
So John, are these kind of the building blocks for your body that help you to recover and restructure, or how do the peptides?
Some of them can be. So I mean, a great example, we have a really, really close friend of ours that also, I don't know what he died 2 or 3 times in the very bad motorcycle accident, and afterwards struggled with memory loss really bad. And we put him on a particular peptide, NAD+, and to give you an idea of how well it worked, everyone that worked with him came in to start it because they said they saw his memory increase so much in 1 month. His short-term memory improved so much. Every one of these guys that worked with him came in and said, I need this because if it does that for him, I'm mind blown by what it'll do for me. So, I mean, that's the type of success stories we get with even just peptides. That's not even hormone therapy. That's a peptide therapy success story. So how do you not smile every day when you're helping people like that?
That's got to make you feel great, because how often do we, like I said, we struggle with just getting up every day and being able to function. And it's a challenging world out there. And if you're not on the ball, man, it's certainly something you want to address, because it can affect your life and a lot that goes on there to make your happiness on this little planet. So with that, I put up on the wall, speaking of examples of people you've helped. You've got a great list of reviews here. 50 reviews. I'll put this on the wall for everybody. This is on your Facebook page, and that's a place to capture a lot of reviews. And so we decided we'd share that with everybody here. But you can see a lot of great things a lot of people have to say because of what you've done to really help some people. But it is great to see somebody that's doing so much work and to get such response. Will Bates here says, would highly recommend Summit Rejuvenation Centers. John and Scott, there we are, both you guys, have been amazing in helping so many in their lives. Staff at Summit, very professional and go above and beyond to help the needs of many other people. But you've got dozens and dozens of those kinds of reviews from people, and that's, again, the proof is in the pudding, as they say, when you've got people taking the time. And generally, and I'm guessing that you've probably helped at least 5,000 people, because it's only about one out of about 10% of people will, 1% of people that will actually go fill out a review. Yeah. 1 to 10, so it gives you a range there. But yeah, and how many people you've helped that just were so busy in life, but if you ever make anybody mad, they sure say something. But I don't see any of that here. So you guys have done a great job to really help people stay on the ball, and that's why we always like to show the reviews. So check those out. Go to the fan page here. You can see that. Just type in Summit Rejuvenation and centers, and you'll be able to see the work that these guys have done, and lots of great information out there too on your site that shares a little bit about your locations and how you help the community. So check that out, everybody. So tell me then, what's it feel like when you've got these kinds of reviews? What helps you to wake up every day and you're like, now we know we've made an impact on somebody, because that guy wasn't performing as well at his job, or that gal, she needed some help taking care of the family. What's it like to be able to get that kind of feedback?
It's kind of hard to articulate exactly. I'm usually pretty good with words, and it's kind of hard to put into words. But at this point, we don't get to see all the patients, like, because we were, for the first 3 years, we were in there every single day. With seeing patients, shaking their hands, getting to talk to the ladies and gents that can come in there and kind of see all the changes. And now as we grow, we're not able to be in there as much, so our staff is in there quite often, and so we get to hear few and far between the good and the bad stories. Usually we're putting out fires and everything else as you grow in business. But our staff is absolutely freaking phenomenal, and the biggest thing for us now is to give them the best work environment and give them all the tools they need to succeed to keep what we started rolling, right? So we're doing the same thing. As always, we love hearing all the good stuff. It's just our focus has kind of more shifted to making sure that we can grow, and our staff is kind of having the same care, taking the same time, the same education to give these people all the tools they need to succeed, so they can keep getting these awesome reviews.
John, same way. Does that?
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed to
wake up every day.
To be honest, we have the best patients, and I mean, not many people can say they have the best customers or the best clients, but we have the best patients in the world. We joke that we grow by more referrals a month than we grow by what we pay for advertising and other things, and that's a true statement for 3 clinics plus an online clinic. And in order to grow by referrals like that, you better be doing a good job of keeping people happy and getting them results. And so that's it. Our jobs are to make sure that every employee we have has all the tools they need to make sure that our patients continue to get the best results, and that way they can provide us the best feedback.
Yeah, that's the key to success on this little planet. Continuing to improve, always finding a way to better serve and get the good word out about what you do to make a difference. And it sounds like you guys have really found a niche. With that, I ask, what would you say is the one thing that really sets you guys apart? And there's a lot of people that go to different types. I mean, chiropractors and health doctors. What is it that you guys do that really differentiates you guys from everybody else?
I think our main thing is customer service. We try to, because again, we own the supplement stores prior to this. That is a very customer service forward type of industry, right? The medical community, 90% of the time is not. You need them. They don't need you type thing. In our business, we need the patient. So we have to kind of treat it differently. So we drive it home hard with our staff to make that patient, whether it be the first, second, third, last appointment, whatever it may be, we want to make them so comfortable and make them feel so good that when they walk out them doors, they are bragging about us. Because that's what we want. That's the best thing we can get is a referral, because that person felt so good and was so happy with their experience that they went in and told their mom, their dad, wherever it is. And if you bring in a family member, that's the coolest thing on earth, because you trust us so much with your health. Not only your health, you're going to put another relative's health in our hands as well, and that's the coolest thing ever.
John, is that that would wake you up every day? Say, man,
I say he hit that pretty good, didn't he? You know, and I'd say the other thing that kind of makes us different is we're truly a symptom-based clinic versus a number-based clinic. And so what that means is that our medical providers are taking the time to have conversations with patients to know exactly what their symptoms are, what kind of side effects they may or may not be having, and we're working around that to create protocols that are custom and one-off for just that person, where a lot of places are cookie cutter and everybody's on the exact same protocol.
Okay, so I could imagine everything here is customized specific to the needs of that particular patient, because one symptom may indicate one problem, but it's actually affecting something else.
Absolutely.
And our little bodies here are very complicated machines, and to really decipher what the true issue is there, you guys have got to do some analysis to really make sure that people are treated correctly. What would you say you do best to help people nail down what the issue is?
It really depends on the communication with the patient. So a lot of times, especially a lot of guys, it's hard for us to go in and admit actually what's going on. You know what I mean? So, but in order for us to get the best protocol set up, we have to know that. But the fact that all our medical staff is continually always learning, and they're not rushed to not take time. You go to a regular medical place, facility, you're in and out because they feel like you're being rushed. With our staff, they're not. They take their time. We don't have any kind of quotas we got to hit. We don't have any time restraints they got to be. We take the time that's needed to get all the questions answered, to educate as much as humanly possible. Because the more comfortable our patient is with what's going on and why it's happening and what we're going to do to fix it, the more likelihood they're going to succeed in whatever they're trying to get.
Yeah, it would seem that how often, again, each office will operate accordingly, where it's kind of like they just got everybody lined up and just come on in. Okay, got you. I'd seen, I forget what particular area of specialty my dad had been to place, and he said this doctor just went and turned around in a circle and just 5 minutes. But you're saying you spend a little more time because you got to dig in and figure here is a potential problem with a potential solution, but you want to make sure. And how often do you find out, okay, they thought it was one thing, but it was really something else, and you've got to go in and treat that.
And to give you like one just small example, right, is how many times, if you're just sitting out there in the audience and you're thinking about this, how many times has a medical professional sat down with you and read your blood work to you to make sure you understand it, versus you getting an email or going into a portal and then it says, hey, we want you on cholesterol medication, or whatever, everything looks great, right? We do that. So we want people to understand their health. We want people to understand their values, because in order for you to take pride and take ownership of it, you need to understand it. And so we're educating patients constantly.
Okay, and so tell me then, when people are doing blood work, obviously your blood tells a lot about what is going on in your body. What are the things that you detect from that, and how do you determine, based on blood work, what's going on with somebody?
Yeah, so hormone levels are obviously a big important one, but we're going to test for overall general health too. So anything you'd see in a primary care doc visit for your annual exam and your blood work there, you're going to see that, plus your hormones, thyroid, vitamins and minerals, liver and kidney values, all these things to make sure that your body is functioning the way it needs to. So we're not just going to optimize hormone levels, we're going to optimize vitamin levels, mineral levels, any other precursors that we can to your hormone levels to make sure that everything functions at its best, and that's how we're going to get you feeling better.
Okay, there's a lot going on there that you've got to tackle, but you guys with the diagnostic tools and the experience you guys bring to the table and really helping people, you can help nail this down for just about anybody. Is there a particular age group that you specialize in? You said that you go help anybody from 20 to 80, but what do you see most people coming in? What age group would you say most people come in from?
Man, like I said, nowadays I would say 30 to 60. That's not to say we got guys that are 22 years old. There's not to say we got people that are 75 plus. So anybody that needs help and is willing to come in, we're willing to help. As a lot of guys and females are they don't understand, or they don't know how much hormones play a role in every single aspect of their life. It's not just biceps and abs. You know what I mean? It's the mental cognition, the depression, the anxiety, the sleep patterns, the mental fogness, that drive to want to be better and to compete. That's one that's not talked about very much. Is you lose interest in things you used to once love, and that's not a good thing. You know what I mean? That's not a good thing at all. So you want to continue to love it, and continue living the most prosperous life you can. We need to have everything optimized as much as possible.
Now that's where you're hitting it, and when you're really helping the community, making a difference. That's where I put the hat on, because that's what that cowboy hat is all about. But this is also something. It's like, the sooner you tackle an issue like this, the better. How many people like us guys, oh no, nothing wrong with me, I can take care of this, I just need to eat some more Wheaties or sleep some more, or take another aspirin. that they're not dealing with the issue, and the longer they put this off, the more difficult it can become to treat.
Well, it's not necessarily more difficult to treat by any means, but you're only cheating yourself by being thick-headed. And it's with guys, we're very, very, very egotistical, and we can kind of let the ego get in the way and say, we don't need this, we don't need this. Well, the only person you're really screwing with is yourself. Right. So there's no positive to holding it off and wait and thinking you can sleep it off, or it'll just go away. That's not going to happen. It's not going to go away until you fix it.
John?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the key, right? It's like, this isn't, things don't get better. You think about it, right? If you don't work out and you eat terrible for 5 years straight, you don't expect to go to the gym for 5 days and all of a sudden all the body fat you gained in them 5 years just falls off and you're back in shape and you feel great.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. So the longer you wait, the more likely you are to put yourself in a worse spot to take longer to get healthy again. Yeah. And that's the last thing you want, because the longer you're unhealthy, the more likely you are for bad things to happen.
And that's not what we want, everybody. So take the time to go meet with these guys. John and Scott really have some experts there to make sure that they can do this. You guys been involved with it, doing yourself, meeting with clients, helping people to get back on track to do so. As I think about this, a friend of mine, he dealt with an issue, personal issue, but is it the pancreas that often is not producing because it's what sends out all of your
which a pituitary gland, and there's a hypothalamus, and a bunch of stuff, bunch of fancy big words that go in your brain. There's a couple of different reasons that could be causing it. I think most of which is going to be the EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals. And like I said, nowadays, I don't think that the testosterone levels are going up and crashing. I think that they're getting attacked from such a young age. They're never actually getting all the way up in the first place. And so the younger generation is going to have a battle, because the lower your testosterone levels are, the lower your sperm count is, harder it is to produce, and those can become very, very big issues in the future when you decide you do want to have kids and realize your testosterone levels have been suppressed for the last 20 years, and the likelihood of that happening is it goes down a lot if your testosterone levels aren't fixed.
And John, so these are things we're impacting at a young age, and is it because of our current health? Is it because we've got so many fixes with regard to treatments for drugs or whatever that people are taking that they shouldn't be taking? What's causing the problem here?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything, right? Because we've got so many environmental changes too, and everything's loaded with hormones now. So it's like, from a young age, nothing's coming from farm to table like it was in the 1950s, right? Or the 1850s, God forbid, everybody was still working on farms. We mentioned that earlier, but it's like they were working outside doing manual labor. Now we sit behind a desk and type most of the day, and then eat more calories than we ever ate before with less protein and no walking. So what do you think is going to happen to your overall health if that's the way you're living?
Okay, so a lot we've covered here, everybody. This is just show number 1. We've got 2 shows. I wanted to give these guys some extra time. We've got a little extra time from the network to put these guys on for another half hour. What we're going to start talking about in the second show here is what's the mistake that most people make. And you can imagine when you're dealing with your health, if you're talking about, I put that stud too close to the wall in the structure for something where that can affect your house. That's something that's important. But when you're talking about your health and your vitality to survive on this little planet, that's something that could become a little bit more important. So stay tuned for more, everybody. This is the Your Little Castle Show. Cool. All right.